Hey, good morning, y'all. First off, I bought this chair at the flea market over the weekend from Dean's Shabby Chic, if you're here local in the Pickering Flea Market. But if you look at this chair, and I think you can see it. If you look at this real closely, it looks like somebody set a barrel of Crisco on it or something. I don't know what that may be, but this is a wood chair, and I mean, and this is good, solid. This is not laminate or cheap stuff or whatever. This is a good chair that's been, you know, tried to be refinished maybe over the years, because if you can see on the bottom, this little spindle that's added doesn't match. It's not original, but I like it okay, and it's fine by me, and I paid $10 for the chair, so I'm happy. But other than, you know, it's dirty, which sometimes happens when you are buying at an outdoor flea market, this is, I'm gonna have to prep. I had this bucket of warm water to put that in, but if you don't, you know, there are some people who can get by without prepping stuff, so now I've got it in the right water, who can get by without prepping stuff and look like a queen in the end. But I'm here to tell you, if it's important to you and you want it to look good, it always helps to do your prep. And I know from experience, from trying to just paint it on there and not prep, that I would have what's called bleed through on this chair from that greasy stuff if I didn't do what I'm doing now. But right here where I know there's going to be bleed through, we're going to stop that bleed through with this Boss. This is also by Dixie Belle, and they call it Boss because it blocks odor, stains, and stops bleed through. This one says clear. I'm just going to use the chip brush for this. This is an old one that I've apparently used for something like this before. And I have these two reds already open, so we're going to decide which one to use here. This is Marquee. Put them both. And Marquee looks almost orangey barn red. And this one is Carnival Red, and it looks more like a true, almost kind of a blue red. And I'm going to go with the Carnival Red, I think. What do y'all think? I want it to look warm, but it's going to go with the black, so maybe I do want it to look cool. We're going to go with the Carnival Red. How about that? I guess I'm going to use this number 8 paint Pixie. Woohoo! Where there's a will, there's a way. Thanks to the use of my $9 blow dryer, we are now ready to proceed. What I should have done was put 2 coats of primer. What I did was put 1 coat of primer, so I wanted to show you exactly what bleed through is. Here it is right here. This is exactly what bleed through is, and I'm now today going to have to put another coat of the primer on here, because what I put, whatever was in this chair, was so strong that it actually was able to bleed through the 1 thin coat that I put on yesterday of the primer, the Boss. So today I'm going to have to put another coat on. So there's areas all through here, and this is just what's called bleed through. It usually can be the tannins in your wood if you've sanded the wood, or it can be any type of oil or grease that's been poured on or polished on, you know, pledge and things like that, oils and things that actually come back to the surface, and the more paint you put, no matter what kind of paint you put, it's going to come through there. So this morning I'm going to have to work some more because I didn't know that I needed 2 coats, so I'm going to put a second coat. So I definitely want to get a good coat over where we know we got some bleed through. I'm going to put another coat of red on here, and while you were gone, or while I was gone, I put another coat of red paint on the chair. I covered it with Big Top, which is the water-based poly from DIY, and I have since went with gray, what do they call this? Manatee Gray by Dixie Belle on a couple of the spindles and the side rails. And then I did the 2 center spindles and the 2 center spindles down here in Little Black Dress by DIY. So the one from Dixie Belle I won't have to put a top coat on, but the ones from DIY I will, and I'm going to put another top coat on this seat anyway, so I'll just hit the other spots at that point. I was using these tiny little chip brushes, and they're not good enough to put a good straight line, and I got a little bit of paint where I shouldn't have, but because I have to go back over this again, I'm not worrying about it. But this is very, very thick, and I switched back to an artist brush, so hopefully I'll be able to do a good job with this. Of course, I'm not going for perfection, but I at least want to, you know, do a good job here. And just to be semi-even, I'm going to start at this gray spindle and just go the width of what my brush will go when it's all spread out. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Let's see, about right here, and I'm going to start, I guess, just to the center of this black one from the next line. Because of the width of this, which is about 3 fingers, I'm going to need a little bit right here. See, we're going to want about that same width, so probably starting about right here. Okay, this will continue, is what's going to go on there, but what I'm going to do is rinse out this brush real quick and show you where I'm going to put the black on here, because my phone's not going to last. And I'm going to continue this to finish today. This is the blackest of the blacks from DIY, Little Black Dress. I would have continued with the Dixie Belle on this so that I wouldn't have to put another top coat, but I didn't have Caviar, which is their darkest. I'm sold out, so I love this DIY paint and I had it, so I may as well use it. I'm going to the cross section between the gray and the gray. Since it would normally go down one more, I may like go around the edge of the chair like this just to sort of frame it out. Obviously I will, not that I may at this point because I've already started it. But there you go, before my battery goes dead. That's how I would start and put the buffalo plaid on the seat of the chair and then blend the chair in. I don't know whether I'm going to do anything to the legs or the round part. Probably not, because it's already going to be pretty busy. Because what I did was put my Big Top over it before the black paint was dry. So let me pick this up. These areas, mostly these red ones I can talk to you about now that have the paint smeared in them. Apparently the gray wasn't dry either. I'm gonna get some black on my brush, and this is DIY little black dress, and I'm going to go over those gray areas to make them look more black gray instead of gray gray. Not completely. I mean, I'm not going to try to solidify the thing, but I did that, and I love it more already. It's looking more authentic, and it's not messing with the look of the chair. But then I had these gray spindles and these gray ones under here, so I've already dry brushed on here. But anyways, if you've not dry brushed before, you barely stick the tip of your brush down in your paint, get off any excess, and then dab it off on something. You don't want hardly any paint on here at all. And then just sort of scrape back and forth over it. So right now I'm doing that with the black on all of the gray areas. Okay, so now for the most part, all of that is covered up, but here's what I decided to do with the red. I'm using DIY Carnival Red on this because I thought it was because it was the more of the blue red, but apparently it's more of the orange red, and I just can't tell the difference because my eyes are rolled. Same thing, I'm barely going to dip my brush in there, get a little bit on the tips, wipe off the excess, dab off the excess on a rag, but instead of trying to cover this whole square, I'm just darkening up the centers. So everywhere that there was a little bit, I'll hold it up there again, everywhere that there was a little bit of the gray coming through from me smearing it, that's what I'm dabbing a little bit of red in the center of here. I framed it out and went all the way around the edges, inside and out, all the way around the edges here like this. And then same thing on the corners of the legs, just to sort of tie it all together a little bit more. So here we go, and I'll put a photograph on it on my Instagram page, and you know, and on here too whenever it's done, but I'm happy with it now.